Welcome back, everybody. This is Mustafa. Really quick. So today's topic is talking about a scientist issuing the coming of the Dajjal or the Antichrist. So I just want to start off this topic with a lot of people have been anticipating the coming of the Dajjal, right? The Prophet ﷺ said that indeed we are the final ummah, so indeed the Dajjal has to come amongst you guys, right? But there are a group of people, right? Whatever you want to call them, you could say Illuminati, Freemasons, that are actively trying to bring the coming of the Dajjal, right? And they're trying to pave a way for the Dajjal. And we know that before the Dajjal can actually come out, there has to be a whole system established for his coming, right? There has to be an era of great deception already that people are acquainted with it. So when he comes out, it's very easy for people to take him as their Messiah, their prophet, and eventually their God, right? They want a physical God that they can see and touch and feel, right? And we know that in this world that nobody will be able to see, and even like nothing can be compared to Allah Azza wa Jal, right? So people who want a physical Lord, they'll get it in the Dajjal. So, with that being said, there are many people since the time of, I would say, even the 1600s, have been attempting to bring out and create this system, right? And the system goes really back, even so much so that there's a guy called Jack Parsons who created the engine for the rocket fuel that brings uh, rockets to space. He was a very well-known occultist. That he had a dream that Jelly even said that, hey, you are helping me, right? And he practiced a lot of black magic, and there's a lot of scientists who they want to do whatever it takes for their dreams to come reality and fruition in this life, right? So, hello, Alam. I'm gonna say something that is controversial. I don't know if it's the right thing to say because I do not know and I don't have a lot of information about this. But I want to bring into a very, very important figure in our times that potentially has um I would say I'm very suspicious of, right? And the reason I say this is because, you know, he has a lot of things that he's doing that's pushing for this agenda. And this person I'm talking about is Elon Musk, right? So before I had a lot of respect, I thought a lot of his achievements are absolutely amazing, and it's incredible how one person could do so many different things, right? But recently, there's come many different things that have come to the light that I'm very, very suspicious of this man, this specific man. One, we know that he's invested in SpaceX, right? And he's always trying to go to the moon, and he's always trying to break the outer boundaries of the world, right? And there's nothing wrong with that per se. And I'm a very big fan of his cars. Tesla, I think, is an amazing invention. And now he's working on something called Neuralink as well, right? Where they're going to be able to take a piece of your actual cranium, remove it, and replace it with something like a little chip almost. That whatever you kind of want without physically going out and grabbing it, you can actually kind of do it, right? So I would say that is a very, very scary, you know, invention. That it does have a lot of, and the outside picture is pretty amazing, right? However, you can see where this can kind of go very, very haywire, right? And a couple things. He also posted a tweet out, like I would say maybe like the beginning of this year, where saying he doesn't mind going to Jahannam. He knows that most people are gonna end up there anyways. He's like, why not me? You know? So that's another red flag, I would say. And recently in Halloween, he was wearing his red armor, right? And I wish I could share this picture, but he had on his chest the picture of Baphomet with upside down cross. So there's a lot of symbolism, and anybody who studies the Illuminati, studies the Freemasonry, studies any of these occults, they actually know everything's all about imagery and it's all about um, posting up some specific symbolisms, right? So we know that whole incident with Balenciaga just came out, and they had all those children in bondage, and it was a big outcry, you know. And indeed, these people they know exactly what they're doing, where they had all the symbolisms where the children in bondage, and they're actually worshiping Baal, right? So Balenciaga is Baal is our king. That's what it stands for. That's what it means. So anybody wearing that stuff, that's the team that you support, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, this is the cult that you're trying to support. So therefore, um, just like many scientists in the past that were known to be Freemasonries that were known to be occultists. They're also scientists of this era, right? That are issuing a new coming of a new system, right? And what new system that is going to be needed to be established so that the jail can actually do his work so easy, right? Why did the Prophet ﷺ say that this is going to be the greatest deception of all time, right? There has to be a reason. There, it's not that on his head forehead is going to be written kafir and that's everybody's going to see it and not follow, right? People are going to be forced to even accept him because they're not going to have food, they're not going to have water, basic necessities they're not going to know how to have, right? So with more information coming, I'm definitely going to take a look at it and pay more attention to it. But it's just very important that we are aware of these symbolisms. We are aware of what's going on around us. We are aware of the geopolitical nature of the world, right? And with this point, I want to take a moment to share the message of Muhammad Qasim bin Abdul Kareem. There's a link in the description of this video to definitely check out his dreams more often and more in depth than what I'm going to say. But a lot of things are coming to fruition according to what his dreams. And most recently, uh, the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has announced that he's coming back to Pakistan, which this was unheard of. You couldn't imagine that this man, he was an old Prime Minister of Pakistan, and he said that he left on technically health reasons, and he was supposed to never come back to the country because apparently he took a lot of money from the country from that people. So there was no way that he was going to come back. And his brother is the prime minister of the country, and they issued another passport, and he is making his return back. So Muhammad Qasim, one of his dreams, and many of his dreams have come true, but in this specific dream, they said when he comes back, most likely this man Nawaz Sharif will lose his life, and this would issue a great chaos in Pakistan, where a lot of countries, neighboring countries, I'm not going to mention specific names, but you could follow in the dream. And neighboring countries pretty much want to destroy Pakistan, right? And this is their biggest opportunity while the country is in debt, running out of resources, running out of gas, and it has crazy amount of chaos where there's almost a civil war going to happen. So, with that being said, I'm saying this right now because once the events do happen, and I do believe it is true, I want everybody to be aware that we said this prior to the event, right? Um, I want everybody also to be aware that certain certain people have given up their souls, I would say, to Iblis, right? And indeed, Allah says, "Ya أيها الناس إن الشيطان هو عدوك فاتخذوه عدوا." Right? Indeed, Iblis, Satan, is your enemy, so take him as your enemy, right? In Surah Fatir, right? ولا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور, right? So don't let this world deceive you, and don't be deceived by Allah's mercy, right? So Shaitan's gonna come to you and say, "Hey, you got time. You're young. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pray right now. You don't have to believe in Allah right now. Wait till you're older a little bit. Go have fun, enjoy." But this is the deception of Iblis, right? And we know that Iblis can't physically do anything to us, right? His only thing he can do is waswas. However, if he has a group of core individual humans, these humans can do a lot of damage, right? I'm also going to link a video called The Family of 13, right? So think about Iblis's pyramid scheme where he's on top of the helm, right? Him in the jail, pretty much running everything. And it trickles down, right? And there is a pyramid scheme where the family of 13, this family are very, very rich family. They have a lot of power as well, and they're causing a lot of corruption on earth. And indeed, Allah will deal with that family in this life and the next life, right? And there are many scientists that aren't in their playbook, that aren't receiving money from them, right? And they're doing their orders. And these scientists, they will be dealt with in this world and with the next world, right? Don't think that they're going to get off scot-free. However, um, their inventions, although they might seem to be amazing and helping advance humanity and making stuff easier for us, and everybody wants the comfort of an easy life, but there's always, keep in mind, there's always a second dual intention with a lot of different things, right? Something might look nice in the outfront. However, you have to always peel back the layers and see what is the real intention behind this. And there's a lot of inventions that are going on, and I would say Neuralink is one of those inventions. Now, I've been studying the mark of the beast for quite some time. I don't know if this is it, but potentially when you get this Neuralink device, especially we go into a digital age, we might know that things might be very different, right? When you go in a digital age, for you to be able to buy any regular commodities, right, you might have to have this chip. The question is, would you do it, right? I would say even COVID-19, when we all got vaccinated because you wanted to travel, you wanted to continue working. Me specifically, if I wanted to be in the hospital, right, and work in the hospital, I had to get the vaccine, right? So what this let's say that was a trial error or a trial period for what the future holds for us, right? Now imagine the financial system collapsed, and we know it's coming for a great collapse. What makes you think that the new digital currencies that you want to be able to buy or exchange or use, right? That you need to have this implant inside of you, right? To continue using digital currency. If you want to continue using your phone, if you want to be part of the grid, if you want to get on the internet, you have to get that, right? Get that chip, get that neural implant, right? So do you conform, right? Or do you say, hey, I don't want this, I don't want the chip, I'm gonna live out in the wild. I'm gonna hunt, fish, and try to survive on my own, right? That might be a very difficult situation since so many of us, including myself, are used to living in a house, used to living in society, used to living in the city, right? We have our nice luxuries, we have our nice hot water, running water, right? Um, so can we step outside? Can we say that we don't want these things anymore? Right? Can we go to the mountainside? Can we go to the farmlands, right? To the nature side and actually survive on our own? That is a question that we all have to answer for ourselves. And indeed, I think the world will get a little bit more dicey and more deceptive, especially as the age of the gel comes closer, as we're moving towards it, right? Um, and as I believe that before the gel comes, World War III might come. And once World War III might come, many inventions that we know are out there, but the military has control over and they're hidden, will come out to the forefront. And those inventions will be applied. Same thing happened, and history repeats itself. World War I, crazy amount of inventions came out and progressed humanity. World War II, even more inventions came out and progressed humanity. And World War III, potentially, as long as we don't destroy ourselves, most likely do the same thing. So, with that being said, watch out for scientists who have an ill intention that are trying to implement the system of the Jah. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Actually, I want to read out some people here in the comment before I let go. We have Andy Burma from Indonesia. Thank you for joining. We have Muhammad Khalil. Thank you for joining. We have, oh, Assalamu alaikum, brother. So this is sister. And we have Ali Warden. Assalamu alaikum, brother. So thank you guys for joining the screen. We were just talking about how there are potentially scientists, right? For example, we gave an example earlier about Jack Parsons that he created the rocket fuel for NASA. And this person, this specific individual, was in the occults with Aleister Crowley, which is one of the main person who actually formed the Church of Satan. And they were scientists, and they tried to create a system for the jail to emerge. And I believe that we have scientists now as well in our current era that are trying to establish another system for the jail to come out. And specifically, I would say Elon Musk. I have a very high suspicious. I don't want to say something that I'm not really sure 100% about, but him with his new Neuralink project and his SpaceX project and his Tesla project and his Boring project, um, it's as if and now he also controls Twitter, right? He controls most of what we're hearing, what we're listening to, right? He spent $44 billion on it. So I would say that there is an agenda behind it, right? People do not get into power that easily without doing something else on the side, right? So I would just always say check the intentions out and find out what are people specifically, what is the reason why, or what's the motivation why people do certain things, right? So he has all the money in the world. So why specifically Neuralink? You know, why is he trying to create this interface between a humanoid and a robot. He wants to connect the two, right? So is this the mark of the beast? I don't know. I don't really have an answer for you, but it's just food for thought for somebody who wants to search and learn. You know, I'm gonna leave you guys with this, and inshallah, tomorrow we'll be on around the same time, inshallah, and we'll continue this conversation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.